This is Unit 7, Targets 1 and 2, homework assignment number 21. We are finding the coordinates for point G, which is an endpoint, x comma y, of the graph, or of the segment GH. We're going to look at it on a graph first. Graphing is a good strategy to find these problems. I also want to show you how to do it without a graph, in case you have decimals to work with, because you won't be able to use a graph very well if you have decimals. So what I do know is that h, one coordinate of the endpoint, is at -2, 9. And I know my midpoint is at 8, 0. This is definitely going to be one where it's hard to see on the graph because it's going to go way off to the side. So on the graph, if I wanted to, I could use the slope to help me try to see what's going on. To go from h to m, if I think about it as a transformation, if I'm transforming h to m, I'm going to go down 9 units, and I'm going to the right 8 units. So that's what's happening. So from point M, I'd have to go down another 9 units and over 8 units to get to point G. So G is going to be somewhere to the right. If we add 8 plus 8, we'll get 16. So 16, -9, maybe, but that's hard to see on the graph. So let's go and do the other strategy, which is to work with the algebra. So with the algebra, we're going to start with the x's. We're going to take both the x's and add them together and divide by 2. -2 plus x divided by 2. We take the average of the x's. -2 plus x divided by 2. That gives me the x coordinate of the midpoint. So if I knew what x was, I could plug that in and I'd know the x coordinate of the midpoint. Well, I already know the x coordinate of the midpoint. I know that when I do this, it's supposed to be 8. That allows me to set up an equation and solve the equation. So we're going to solve by multiplying by 2. Because we're multiplying and dividing by the same number, those are inverses and they cancel out. They become a 1. If I multiply by 2 and divide by 2, I'm really multiplying by 1. So I get 1 times -2 plus x, which is -2 plus x. On the right-hand side, I get 16. And so adding 2 to both sides, I'll get x equals 18. Let's see if we did that correctly. -2 plus x divided by 2 is 8. 2 times 8 is 16. Add to that and we get 18. Okay, I had to pause for a moment there and see what my mistake was. My mistake was that right here on the graph, I said that I was counting over 8, but I wasn't counting over 8. I was counting 8 from the 0, but this length from -2 over to 8 is really unit of 10. So if I added 10 more to the 8, it would give me an 18. So the 18 is correct. So figured that out. For the y's, I'm going to take y plus y divided by 2. So 9 plus y divided by 2. That's the formula for finding the average of the y's, or the midpoint of the y's. So I know the y coordinate is going to be 0, because that's what I was given. So equals 0. Now I just solve that, times 2 times 2. 9 plus y is equal to 0. Subtract 9, so y equals -9. And we see that on the graph as well. So G, that I was trying to find, G is going to equal 18, -9. So there's a reason why the graph isn't always going to work for you if the numbers are too large, and you want to be able to do it another way.